Okay, this is the first big step of faith that God asked me to take after He freed me from alcohol addiction and anxiety. And it was to leave a job where I was making close to six figures and without even having another job lined up. So it was very uncomfortable and scary, and I couldn't believe He was asking me to do that. He's the one that got me the job in the first place. When I was going through a divorce years ago, I was working 60 to 70 hours a week in the job I was in, and I was making just enough to pay my mortgage, and I had a real strict parenting plan I was going to have to stick to, and I had child support I was going to have to pay, so I had no idea how I was going to do it. I couldn't figure it out. So I was praying hard about it. A friend of mine called, said opportunity might be knocking, and to come down and talk to some guys he worked with, and so I did, and I ended up getting the job. And I was making more on 40 hours a week than I was working 60 to 70, and it worked perfectly around my parenting plan, and I made enough to pay everything. So God had obviously gotten me that job, and now He was asking me to leave it, and I couldn't believe it. But then again, He's the one that got me the job in the first place, and He's the only reason I even have the ability to work. He's the reason I have breath in my lungs. So He doesn't force me to do anything, but He strongly suggests things at times, and it's in everybody's best interest to just do it if He suggests that to me. So, but I wanted to be sure it was Him and not just. It started at a church service, and the pastor was talking about being in the job that honors God, that He wants you in. And so I prayed and asked if that's where God still wanted me. And it felt a very strong feeling back that He wanted me to quit my job, to go to something else. And so I wanted to be sure it was Him. So somebody suggested fasting. So I fasted for 3 days, and I prayed hard, and I asked for confirmation. And confirmation came from two different people out of the blue. Neither one of them had any idea what was going on. And so I knew it was God. And so I quit. One day I asked God, when do you want me to do it? And I think it was like 5 days later, I went to work, or it was within the next week, and a bunch of things happened all on the same day, all pointing to it's time to go. And so I quit, and people there thought I was crazy. And I would have thought the same thing. I would never advise somebody to leave a job without having another one lined up. I've never done that before, and I'd not advise my kids. I wouldn't advise anybody to do that. It seems crazy. And so I'd been working on some stuff around the house, and I kind of thought that another job would just present itself right away. Like there would be another one lined up, but there wasn't. I started remodeling my house. I knew it was going to be time to sell it. The house was built in 1950, so it needed a lot done. So I ended up just working on remodeling the house, and pretty soon my savings dried up, and all I had left was a boat. And I really did not want to sell that boat. It was a 19-foot Alumaweld jet boat, and I figured wherever I went, that boat was going. And it was like pulling teeth trying to get rid of that. And until one day I was watching TV, and it was a show about how bad it is in other countries, in some other countries, and I think it was India somewhere, and this little girl was going down to this pond to get this diseased, nasty drinking water to bring back to her house to cook with, to make food for her family in this nasty, diseased water. And while she was doing that, she got bit by a poisonous snake, and her leg turned black. And she was a little 9-year-old girl, and that made me feel horrible. You know, here I am holding on to this boat like it's life or death, and it really is life or death in other places. And so it was easy after that. I ended up putting it up for sale, and I sold it, and I finished the remodel, and I waited for whatever God had for me next, and I'm glad I did it now. but I'll save the rest for another video. So I'll leave you with a verse from Luke. This is Luke 9:23. Then he said to them all, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. And that's Jesus talking. And I knew when I started following him that it was possible that he'd ask me to do that. I just didn't think he'd actually do it. So thank you for watching and have a great day.